There's a voice in your head. You know the one. It tells you you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that you'll embarrass yourself. And what's wild? That voice is louder than any demon and sounds just like you. Even Zenitsu knows it. Even Tanjiro's faced it. But what if I told you they didn't just survive those voices, they learned to silence them? Today, we're breaking down how Demon Slayer shows us the exact mental tools to shut down self-doubt. One breath, one battle, one moment at a time. So stay with me till the end, because the lesson Zenitsu gives us when he blacks out might just be the exact method you need to break free. Demons grow stronger in the dark. So does self-doubt. Let's get real for a second. You ever spiral for no reason? Like you're brushing your teeth and your brain goes, "Hey, you remember that dumb thing you said 5 years ago?" And suddenly, boom, you're back in 8th grade, sweating. That's how fast it happens. One thought, one feeling, one emotional demon, and you're done. But here's the twist. It's not the fear that breaks you. It's pretending it's not there. Most of us try to hide from fear, act confident, distract ourselves, hope no one notices the internal chaos. But ignoring doesn't make it go away. It just makes it louder, like a smoke alarm that you keep pretending you don't hear. Left unchecked, that voice will run the whole show. Not because it's right, but because you never called it out. Here's the science. Dr. Matthew Lieberman, UCLA, found that labeling your emotion, literally just naming it, calms your brain's threat response. It's called affect labeling. Surprisingly effective. No journaling required. No motivational speech. Just say what it is. I'm nervous. I'm overwhelmed. And just like that, the mental fog starts to lift. When Tanjiro fights his first demon, he doesn't have it all together. He's scared, shaking, uncertain. But here's what makes that moment powerful. He doesn't fake bravery. He feels the fear. He names it and still moves forward. That honesty doesn't weaken him. It stabilizes him. Imagine you're pitching something important. Your heart's pounding, thoughts racing, and someone says, "Relax." Thanks, super helpful. But then you pause, take a breath, quietly admit, "I'm nervous. That's what this is." That one sentence makes everything sharper. Because now, instead of fighting your feelings, you've grounded them. And suddenly, you're back in control. Unspoken fear is like static. It distorts everything. But the second you say it out loud, it starts to lose its grip. Because now it has a shape, edges, boundaries. What was once a swirling storm becomes something you can actually face. Next time the spiral starts, try this. Stop, breathe, name it, honestly, and without judgment. You don't need to conquer the fear in that moment. You just need to face it. That's how the real battle begins. You don't think your way out of panic, but you can breathe your way out. Ever tried to logic your way through anxiety? Doesn't work. It's like arguing with a fire alarm. "I know it's a real fire. Please stop." And the alarm just keeps going. Beep, beep. Panic time. Here's the truth. When your mind spirals, your breath is the only switch that still works. You got something important coming up. An interview, a test, a conversation you've been dreading. And suddenly, your brain is sprinting at 100 miles per hour, while your body feels like it's underwater. And no matter how many times you say, "Calm down," your nervous system's like, "Nah, full alert mode activated." This isn't just spiritual fluff. It's biology. According to Harvard Health 2019, slow, controlled breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for calming you down. Think of it as your body's emergency brake. You can't outthink panic, but you can out-breathe it. In Demon Slayer, Tanjiro doesn't just fight demons with his sword. He fights with breath. Total concentration breathing isn't just flashy anime logic, it's a metaphor for control. In the heat of battle, surrounded by chaos, Tanjiro inhales deeply, slows his breathing, and centers himself. That breath gives him clarity, power, and the ability to move with purpose instead of panic. Without that breath, he's just swinging blind. You're about to speak in front of a room full of people. Your pulse is up. Your stomach's doing gymnastics. Your brain, static. You try to think clearly. Doesn't work. Of course not. But then you stop. You breathe. And here's where you take control. Box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, repeat. And suddenly, it's quieter. Not silent, just manageable. That's the reset. Don't wait for the anxiety to disappear. Breathe through it. Because every battle, internal or external, starts with the breath. Zenitsu is terrified, always, but fear becomes silence when he focuses. You've probably laughed at Zenitsu, screaming, crying, running in circles like he just saw a ghost with student loan debt. But when the moment hits, when it really counts, he passes out and becomes deadly. Weird flex, but it holds a lesson most people never learn. Your weakness, when focused, becomes your strength. Most people try to fight fear by acting tough. They shout over it, mask it, or worse, run from it. But fear isn't always the enemy. The problem is what we do with it. When it's unfocused, it paralyzes you. But when you aim it, it sharpens you. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called it flow state. It's the mental zone where action becomes effortless, time disappears, and performance skyrockets. How do you get there? By matching challenge with focus. Not by removing fear, but by channeling it into one clear objective. That's when the noise fades. Remember the moment? Zenitsu on the verge of collapse? Terrified, shaking, literally pleading for his life. Then he faints, and the second he's out, he moves. Total silence, laser focus, single strike. He cuts down the enemy like it's instinct, because in that moment, there's no voice left to argue. No panic, no overthinking, just pure clarity. It's not the absence of fear. It's fear being rerouted into skill. You ever see someone nail a performance under pressure? A surgeon during a critical moment? An athlete taking the game-winning shot? Even a student in an exam room? They're not fearless, they're locked in. Everything fades but the task. That's focus, not from calm, but from purpose. Zenitsu's fear doesn't vanish. He just stops letting it scatter his attention. That's the trick. Your anxiety, your doubts, your inner chaos, their energy. Useless when they're bouncing around, powerful when they're aligned. Next time you're overwhelmed, don't suppress the fear. Redirect it. Pick one action, block out the rest, let the emotion push you into motion. Don't try to silence the voice with willpower. Focus so hard it can't get a word in. The negative voice screams, "You can't." The answer is, "I must." At some point, the voice in your head will say, "You're not ready. You're too broken. You can't do this." And if you don't have a deeper why to stand on, you'll believe it. But Tanjiro, he never fights for himself. He fights for something. And that makes all the difference. Here's the trap. When your goal is look cool, don't fail, or impress everyone, your brain panics the second it feels shaky. It becomes all about you and your flaws and your past and your potential embarrassment. That's when doubt has power. But when your goal is bigger than your ego, the voice can scream all at once. You've already chosen your direction. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, survivor of Nazi concentration camps, wrote that those who had a reason to endure were more likely to survive. He called it logotherapy, the idea that humans are wired to survive almost anything, if they believe it matters. When the reason is big enough, fear becomes background noise. It doesn't vanish. It just loses priority. When Rui corners Tanjiro and Nezuko, everything should be over. Tanjiro's outmatched, bleeding, barely standing. But then he remembers Nezuko, his family, why he started this path in the first place. And suddenly, everything changes. His breath deepens, his will hardens, and in one of Demon Slayer's most iconic moments, he slices through fear with conviction so strong, the animation literally explodes. He didn't find strength. He remembered what was worth fighting for. It's 3 a.m. You're exhausted. You want to quit, but then you remember. You're doing this to support your family, to keep a promise, to become someone your younger self needed. That's not motivation. That's a mission. And mission is louder than fear. Fear isn't always irrational. Sometimes it's just trying to protect your comfort. But a strong why, it tells you where you're going and reminds you why it matters. Fear reacts to danger. Direction responds to meaning. And if you're stuck in self-doubt, ask, who am I doing this for? What future depends on me not giving up today? Write it, speak it, hold it close, because when the voice in your head says you can't, your reason answers, watch me. Tanjiro didn't fight because he was fearless. Zenitsu didn't win because he was calm. They heard the voice too. They just chose not to obey it. And you don't need to silence that voice. You need to rise above it. With breath, with focus, with something worth fighting for. The demons were never out there. They live in your thoughts, your doubt. And one day, they'll try to stop you again. But you'll keep pushing forward anyway.